All right, Lee. It's getting close to dinner time. What do we got? Chicken tonight?
No, I'm going football. 6 aside in about. I have to be here about 30. So that's why. Otherwise, I would stay on, like, you know. So.
Is that his warm up? You know, doing his fences. He's had his warm up.
Is this your warm up when you?
I do that when I score. Man. I feel that great after that. And I've worked today. I'm not going to lie. So.
Well, it's nice to accomplish something physical and feel like you can do that. It's been 15, 20 years since I've known that feeling.
I've dug a few holes in my time. Got myself into a few holes in my time. You know what I mean? So
I don't know what you mean, actually. No. So anyway, Lee, any last words? Anything else you want to get into?
Fantastic what you're doing and all that, and congratulations, Mike. Getting the people that you've got on, is a marvelous thing that you're doing, and all the games and everything like that. And it's a pleasure to know you and be your friend and doing what you're doing. So keep it going, and everybody that's contributed, well done. That's all I need to say really.
Well, the feeling is likewise, Lee, and the first person I look for when I come over to visit, and it's going to be hopefully soon, is normally you. And I think the first time we met, where were we headed down to Palace together? We all met in King's Cross Station, yeah. I think, or St. Pancras, and went down to that fateful Palace game that did not go so well, the Monday night football game, and my best memory of you that night was after you on the train on the way back was you watching yourself on AFTV on your phone. And I have a picture of that. You look like you were in love. And I look at what's on your phone, and it's your own interview on the phone.
No, I've changed it. It was all new to me then.
Yeah.
I come over to America. That was another thing. When I come over to America and was in New York, you come down from Washington to see us, and we hung out for a couple of days, and that was great. And
I don't necessarily live near New York, but there have been two visitors to New York that I said, you know what, I'm going for the weekend, and you and Tommy, and just fantastic time. You actually made me exercise after eating a Baconator. That was not very nice.
We walked the line, so that was good. That was like, you didn't want to think. We walk in this line, and if anybody knows it, what do they actually call it in New York?
It's called the High Line.
High Line, so then it's like an old train.
It's a walking path. I think it's on like the East River or the Hudson River. I forget which one. I don't know the geography that well, but
old train line. You can walk along, don't you, and to the train stations and all that. Like, he's only walked about 200 yards. Can we get a cab? I said, no, we're not getting a cab. So we get to the station. We get a cab. Can we get a cab? No, come on, let's enjoy the walk. But you done it, didn't you? You did do it, and we
walked all the way from O'Hanlon's to the pier where our romantic ferry ride around the island, the Statue of Liberty. I mean, it was just an absolute date. Your partner was a third wheel on that day for sure.
Yeah, that was it was good though, wasn't it? I mean, we had a good time, and I have to say, it's been a pleasure. One of the greatest things about doing what I'm doing, and I mean this sincerely, is that I've been able to meet guys like you and the overseas.
To a lesser extent, Andy.
Yeah, and we know he's a bit of a dick, but other than that, he's all right. Ultimately, see the passion and everything from the overseas fans is amazing. And that's one of the greatest things that, and I've been able to meet a few of you guys and everything like that. And it's been great, and we went to West. I think was it about 7 o'clock in the morning?
It was the West Ham game after it was Unai Emery's third game in charge. We started City Chelsea that year as well, and lost the 2.
Yeah, that's right. And we played West Ham, and I think it was about 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning that morning.
And we get into the pub. It's busy as anything. There's beers. Everybody's drinking beers. No wonder a lot of Americans have got alcohol problems if they're doing that at 7 o'clock in the morning. Like,
we do, man. Yeah, Sebby was there that day. Jess was there. My friend Jess from New York was there that day, and it was a fun morning. You were a little slow on the beers. It's like you didn't quite buy into it. I mean, I kept trying
no. Like, 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm struggling with a coffee, let alone a lager. Like, you know what I mean? So, plaque. But you guys do that. You know what I mean? They're drunk all day on a Saturday. You know what I mean? It was just seeing something completely different to that. Like, was unbelievable in it, and the pub was packed. There was people going around with sandwiches and cakes. I think someone had a birthday that day and they'd made a big cake and everything. And it was just great to see it from a different perspective. So, and thanks to you, Mike, I would never experience that. So, I'm glad.
It was my pleasure. I was glad that you didn't sleep in. That I was a little worried that you weren't going to show up that morning because it just was too early. You guys whine and complain about a 12 p.m. kickoff. So, yeah, and it's 4 a.m. for Taylor and the group out in Los Angeles.
Saying that, so look, listen, I tip my hat to all those supporters that do that, and the credit to you. And at least with it being 8 o'clock on Friday, you ain't got to get up early. There you go.
I truly hope to be able to see you maybe as soon as a couple months from now. I'm hoping a couple things come together and I'm able to come over. But either way, I'll be over this season. Win, lose, or draw, Arteta or someone else, Jacques or no, I'm coming over I'm coming over and I'm staying at the 12 pins.
No,
and I'm going to hold court while you guys come in because I miss you all so much. So Lee, take care, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Right, Joe, nice to meet you. Dan, see you later on. Take care, guys.
Absolutely. So here's what we're going to do. Jared, Dan, you're going to stick around. We have 46 minutes left in this thing, 47 minutes or so left in this thing. And I just want to open it up to anybody and everybody. I have no agenda, no games, no famous guests or anything other than, of course, the most famous of all, Dan Potts. And so we're literally going to just invite anyone and everyone that can come in. So go to GoonerOpenMic.com and do me a favor and just provide some companionship for this last 48 minutes. My God. This
Danny doing? Danny will jump on. Danny and Jeff.
Danny, get in here. Let's make this kind of that thing where at the end of the game, they invite everybody come up here. But go to GoonerOpenMic.com and come in, and we're going to welcome Gary in. You are not too late, Gary. You are 23 hours and 18 minutes into a 24-hour podcast, so you're right on time.
All right, thank you for having me. Yeah, I was hoping I would get. I saw the beginning, and I was like, oh, I want to get on, and just got a little too busy with life here. So finally, I'm in lunch. It's a lunch break now, so I get to get in here and hopefully see you out. But I appreciate. I love this work that you do every year. I've been a part, been able to meet up with you since I've gone on Arsenal YouTube chatting away. So it's been good knowing you on that and actually talking with you about sports and not. But I definitely like this cause. I understand this. There's a lot of your heart is in this. There's a lot of your heart into this, and I appreciate that. And everybody needs needs that. We need that these days.
That's a wonderful thing to say. Did you feel that way before you won the team signed jersey in the earlier draft?
What a wonderful cause.
As you can see, the shirt is right behind me.
Oh, look at that! That is. Yeah. I actually didn't even pick up on that because my eyes left me about 30 hours ago. But this is your prize from the early bird raffle that we did in May. I mean, I hope I'm not single-handedly devaluing the market of like legend signed shirts, and because when we got like Perry and Lee and Alan and Kev, by the time we reach like 3 or 4 years from now, there's going to be like 100 of these things out on the market, and I'm probably devaluing them, but they're personally signed. The team signed kits are not, but the ones that you win from the legends, they're personally signed with a message that you actually put on there. So that it's a 1 out of 1, and it's just been absolutely incredible to be able to hand those out. Steve Feely's back with us. Feely,
yes,
Pat, Perry Grove's son, as we learned today.
It's not public knowledge, Mike.
Yeah, I was going to say Gary is also Perry Grove's son, but but that didn't go over so well.
Kevin Campbell.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but
I said it.
So yeah, we can talk about anything really that you guys want to talk about at this point. Questions, Arsenal talk. I mean, we have the authority on all things Arsenal with us right now. Jared is with us. Jared, by the way, I want to say thank you as you have been again, like I keep telling you, a revelation over the last few months. Helping me with everything having to do with Gooners versus Cancer, helping me on the air over the last 24 hours, being kind of my co-host for a number of hours, and it's just an honor to be able to do this with you.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. It's really been a pleasure, and like you, obviously, Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is something that hits close to home for me. I know some of you guys closer to me now, a lot of them don't. My father was diagnosed with lymphoma back in 2019 and was actually, going through chemotherapy during 2020 at the height of the pandemic. So it's a tough time when all those, typical worries you would already have are combined with, now he's got almost no immune system. COVID's at a high here. So it was a really kind of nervous time for all of us on our end. But I'm glad to say that, he's completed his chemo right now. He's doing well, and, he's back to doing all the things he loves. So at least on our end so far, a happy ending. But yeah, for all those reasons, the Arsenal reasons, knowing Mike as a person, it's been, really a kind of an honor and a pleasure to be able to be involved in my small way and kind of help out this year. It's been great. So I appreciate it.
Oh man, I really appreciate that. And the more I learn about kind of what motivates people to do this kind of thing, and why this cause is important, the more I really feel the reality of how many people this affects. That cancer affects a lot of people one way or the other, but just, what you don't see on the website when people donate is that they can leave comments, and not everybody does. Not everyone has to, obviously, but the people that do, I mean, there's some really amazing stuff that I see on the back end, as to why people are donating and what's motivating them. And it's just, we have got to somehow find a way of mitigating this risk to people and making this less of an impact on them. So,
yeah. And if I could add one thing to that, I know we always, hit everybody up for donations for this event, the year-long event, which if you're in a position to donate, that's amazing. Thank you, everyone who does. But if you're not in a position to donate, you can still participate in a big way. Follow the Twitter, the Instagram, the simple one click that retweets or shares that item, might expose someone new to it who didn't know about it, who is able to donate. So you can really, by doing just a very small thing, have kind of an outsized impact, which is the one of the really nice things about, being in the virtual space of Twitter and Instagram. So keep that in mind. We'd appreciate it if you follow those things and kind of share the content around that. That does make a much bigger difference, I think, than people realize.
Absolutely. As we learned from our new friend, John Smith and his buddy Max earlier in the show, one tweet, one well-constructed effort or forwarding or something like that can open up 2.1, nearly 2.2 million eyes laid on it, or I guess 4.4 million eyes, because most people have two eyes. But you never know what will come from that. So if you and I can't imagine anyone who has, but although there have been a few people that have done it, if you haven't watched segments of this podcast now, I know we've been running for 24 hours, but go back and watch some of the things. Go back and watch the hour that we spent with John Smith and Max. That was let's see, at the beginning of it was at the towards the end of segment 2. Just a really, really cool hour. Go back and watch. One of the things that absolutely I just took me as being one of my favorite parts of this podcast was the hour I spent this morning with Fergus Keating, Guns and Yellow Ribbons, criminally underfollowed podcast, but incredibly informative, very well done. Eoin, welcome back. But Fergus Keating has done a series along with Old Man Trev and the two Arsenal historians called The Arsenal History, which is a basically just an accounting in 8 parts, ranging from 1886 to present day, and especially the older years that most of us other than Lee Judges may not have been around for. It's really interesting viewing. I can't wait to really dig in deeper to it, and Fergus, just from kind of hosting that series and absorbing the information coming from people who have been there and been told stories by other people who were there, just passing that information down from generation to generation is really important. And it makes you remember that, if you're just interested in Arsenal because of the results and you're going to make or break your week because of that, there's so much you're missing out on about being an Arsenal supporter. So enough preaching, but there are just so many great hours that we had. I can't believe they were all in sequence one after the other, but we're finally just 36 minutes away. Danny, welcome back, my friend. Danny's on mute.
He's on mute, Danny.
It's his first podcast. Cut him a break.
Yeah,
he's new to this.
I don't even think he's muted, but for whatever reason we can't hear him. This might be a good thing.
Nice. It's quite nice, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't you start me. Bloody StreamYard doesn't always remember the settings. I was saying, you're making me sick. All this ass kissing. Oh, Dan Potts. When I was growing up in America, I had your name on the back of my shirt. Bullshit. That's
tongue in cheek, and Dan knows that. I actually think he's a cunt.
You told me secretly there's only one Dan in your life, and that's me.
You are my first and you were my last.
Because we were triplets, and like I said, because I won the quiz, I was the champion. We were triplets, and when we were in the room together, you ate the other triplet. That's why there's only two of us.
Yeah, there were 3 mics and a Max. Well, at one point in this podcast, we had 3 mics and a Max on the podcast.
Too much.
And Max from Arse Bros in Australia was, with completely deadpan, serious face. He's like, well, the reason I think that Arteta probably ought to be given a couple games, Mike, is because, he was dead serious.
Where's Andy?
We got John Smith back. John, is it Smith or Smythe?
Well, we say Smythe, but I don't get offended because I've had 40 years of it. I'm not bothered either way.
Do you get smudge sometimes? Apparently that
I've never been called smudge. I've been called a lot worse than that. Sometimes, Smithy, whatever. I'm not bothered really. As I say, I've been called much worse things in my life than Smith. I don't get offended,
Well, John is.
It's actually Irish for Smith. It should have an E on the end, really. That would have made my life a lot easier, but I don't know what happened. You blame my great grandparents or something like that. But
Owen, would you have been able to understand him better if he had the E on the end, like a traditional Irish?
Absolutely. He's just spitting on Irish heritage, really.
Oh, sorry.
Owen would spell it like SMEOITH.
Yeah, that would be more appropriate.
It's just your heritages.
And I can't think of any famous footballers who've had my surname either.
Yeah, no, there's been no Tommy, no.
Because I didn't make it either. That was unfortunate. I have actually come back for a reason, to be honest.
Okay.
Obviously, I just wanted to congratulate you, Mike, on your almost 24 hours and reaching your fundraising target. But I did put in one of the comments. I'd sent you a DM, but I know that you've probably not got on Twitter, so that's fine. So I didn't want you to miss out on this exclusive opportunity that I'm going to tell you about. So, you know that obviously a lot of fans from around the world have sent in gifts for young Max to cheer him up and stuff. Well, one of the things he was sent was a brand new home shirt with Tierney 3 on the back. And it's a size small men's, But would you believe that Max, who is 11 years old, cannot fit in a size small men's? He's having to take a large men's because he's a big old unit like his dad. So what I thought would be good, because this shirt is actually, it was given to me to give to my son, who's also called Max, but it's too big for him and he's the same age. So what I thought I would do is if somebody out there wants it, if they were to make a reasonable donation to your cause, then I would send it to them for free. And it's not one of these cheap Chinese fakey ones. It's come from the armory at Arsenal.
That's phenomenal. That's amazing. I know that this will be hard for you to believe, but I won't fit. I can't fit in that either.
No, I know. Well, I can't.
Small.
John, that's fantastic. I appreciate it. What I'm learning about you is that every shirt you've ever come in contact with is still in its original bag. No matter how old it is, whether it's a day old or 15 years old.
And I tell you what, I wish I still had some of my old Arsenal shirts because they'd be worth a bomb now. I'm still after a 1991 goalie shirt, which was my first ever kind of proper Arsenal shirt. But I've seen them on the internet now, and like 150 quid. I ain't paying that. So I love Arsenal, but I'm not paying 150 quid for a shirt that maybe one time I paid 30 quid for. Well, unless it was really, really like brand new in the bag, maybe. But yeah.
Or if it was, game worn, sweaty,
Oh,
and
yeah, if it
still
was David.
also in the bag.
Well, there are a few David Seaman. I think there is a David Seaman match-worn Arsenal shirt from the '94 season on eBay, but I think it's on for like 800 quid or something like that.
No, we can't. We can't be doing that. So yes, thank you, John. I did actually see the tweet, and just in my distraction, I forgot to respond to you. But somewhere out there's got to be a small man or a large or a medium-sized child who can wear the Tierney shirt, and it's
Or a
the home
lady.
shirt.
Oh, yeah, it's the home shirt. I'll show you. It's got all the proper stuff on it. It's still got all the tags on it. Tierney number 3 on the back.
Beautiful. I love that.
And I really like this home shirt this season. I think it's one of the best ones we've had so far. I like the blue stripes on it. I think that it's really, really nice.
What do you make of this one that arrived about an hour ago?
Well, I like it. I really like it because it's got that kind of 90s vibe, which is me all over. But my son Max, who's 11, says it's absolutely awful. So I don't agree with him.
I like it. I like it. But
I
again,
like it.
Thank you so much for the shirt. We're gonna put that into the overall Gooner raffle. We've got a couple other things. There was a donation earlier today, I believe, from my God, this all running together. Who don't? Oh, Mark Brindle, Arsenal supporter liaison, pulled out a hardback copy of a limited edition 1971 double hardback book that 71 of them were made in the world, and he owns number 55 out of 71, and he's offered that to the Gooners versus Cancer raffle. So in about a week or two, you're gonna start to see all the different items that you can bid on. If you've donated to the charity anytime between late May, when we started the early bird raffle, so Gary, when you put that money in and ended up winning your shirt, all the way up to today, you're gonna get entries into that raffle as well. I don't think anybody should be penalized for donating early. I think you should be rewarded for it. So we're going to put everybody in there. I'm going to have a pretty significant task reaching out and finding out what people want to bid on, but that's the way we're going to do it. It's a good problem to have. So thank you, John. And I can see us doing this a little more frequently throughout the season, because I know you tweeted that you've never been on a podcast much less an Arsenal podcast before.
I never get invited. This was kind of like my first invite.
Well, you're a natural, and if you don't get snapped up by somebody much larger than us,
I
like
keep
the other
hoping
people on
Dan
this
Potts
podcast.
might
End
invite
up
me.
with a hybrid squad like everyone else.
I don't think Dan Potts follows me on Twitter yet. Hint, hint.
Well, Dan, you got to get to that.
I will, man.
It's
I will,
tweets
man.
of John
Hey,
with
Mark,
underscores.
I
in
can't
between.
remember.
But
What's your Twitter? What's your Twitter, man?
Tweets _ John Jon.
I'll
yeah.
follow you.
Tweets
Bro.
of John.
I'll follow you.
Thank you, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, you can find out the whole story about Max. It's really a kind of a heartwarming thing, and I know that this hour is getting very, very gushy, and so anyone want to bring us back to reality here? I mean, the before we go for the final round of gushiness in about 20 minutes, John, because we didn't ask you this yet, and then Danny, because we weren't able to ask you, and also, well, actually everybody but Jared and Dan Potts. Score prediction for tomorrow. What do you think? We've talked about the full season, but for tomorrow, what do you think is going to happen?
I think Aubameyang's going to turn it on tomorrow. I think he's been saving his goals in pre-season. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Arsenal win.
He's going to turn on his Lambo, or he's going to turn on the
his goals. He'll turn on his Lambo as well when he goes home. But no, 2-0 win to Arsenal. I can't see Brentford doing this, to be fair.
All right. Well, that would be that would be a pleasure. I'm not as confident. I think I went 1-1.
I don't get fined if I get this wrong, do I?
No, nothing. No, not at all. Danny.
A mind-numbing 0-0. It's going to be awful. We're going to spend the entire game doing nothing, and Arteta going, "Don't lose, please don't lose. Don't pass the ball. Don't do anything creative. Please don't lose," for 90 minutes, and then we're all going to fall on our swords at the end, or take up rugby or some other proper sport.
I won't have that negativity. I won't have that negativity about my club, Danny. I won't have that. You won't hear me saying stuff like that.
For a minute, he's so positive.
Arteta out by half time.
Bang out of order.
What's interesting, right before the season, normally every club's fans, you kind of have that, completely unexplainable optimism that this is going to be our year. We're going to be great. This is the one for us. And then Danny's still here one day out saying, no,
The last
come back
time
to
I
reality.
felt this negative about a season was the 94-95. The day George Graham got sacked, I thought, that's it. I was on my way to Highbury, listened to it on the radio, and I thought, I might as well just turn around and go home. This season's going to be shit. You know what? It was. So I was right then, and I'm right now.
You've never been wrong about anything in your life.
Not
Other than the
knowingly.
time that you actually pointed out our podcast and ended up sending some people our way. That was probably not your best.
Sorry
call.
about that.
Yeah. If not for that, I probably wouldn't have to be bothering with us anymore. Stephen, tomorrow.
I think it'll be 2-0, but I think we'll make hard work of it. I think it'll be because Brentford will be ready and they're on cloud 9. You know what I mean? It's the first game in the Premier League. All their fans are going to be loud as anything. But I think we'll grind out. It'll be one of those games where we're terrible. We score 2 goals in 2 minutes, and then that's all we do.
Beautiful. Now, will you be? I don't know what the exact situation is now with all the limitations and stuff. But will you be watching the game at home? Will you be at work? Will you be at Fins?
I'll probably be at work. I'm trying to figure out if I can get the Fins. I went to Fins on Sunday for my sins. That was fun. But
the Fins for your sins.
Yeah, there you go. Put that on the poster. But I am.
T-shirt.
I'm gonna try and get out, but it's an odd one. It's Friday aftonnoon. So
That's the perfect time to go to a pub.
No, it is because just keep
get a
going,
little sick at work and then head to the pub, meet up with Fredo and Jill.
Have to do that. Fredo doesn't even go anymore. I don't know where he is. Where are you at, Fredo?
Son of a bitch.
But no, I might try and do it. Get the Fins. It's always a good time. But early games like that on the weekday are always difficult. And also, what am I going for? We're probably going to lose.
There's that. Dan's not going to have that negativity. He's not going to put up with it. I know he's been gone for a little while, but I just have to remind people about this. Lee Judges. Let me. Now that he's not here anymore, I have to be a little bit more specific. So let me fix that. Here we go.
Oh, he'll be happy about that. He'll be happy about that.
Yeah, he'll love that. He's always told me that if they're not taking the piss, then they don't care enough about you. So here we are. You're gone, and we're still taking the piss.
Yeah.
Gary, don't waste the tweet. Don't waste this prediction. What's going to happen tomorrow?
No, I mean, I 2-0 to the Arsenal is what I was expecting. I expect us to do because I'm hoping for some improvement from the past seasons, but I'm always surprised by Arteta. He always surprises me. And that's the same thing with his lineups every week. I'm always surprised. So I want him to surprise me because that's what I've been expecting. Because every time I expect something, it never happens. So I'm hoping he surprises us. 2-0 is what I expect us to get, but I'm seeing a 1-1 draw, just because we're gonna get let down. You know, I mean, I think there's 3 games. There's 3. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's a little negative, but there's 3 games. There's 3 games. There's 3 games that we've got, to start this season, and I think we might be looking ahead and get a little concerned about the other games and not worry about this one right in front of us. So
yeah, and as I said when I did the prediction about an hour ago, I can see us getting an early goal and being like, all right, Arteta in, we're back. And then we fall into that lull where we're like protecting a 1-goal lead instead of going after it and increasing it. And then some lull point, whether it's like the 44th minute of the game, as we always give up goals right before the half, or like the 77th minute.
Xhaka will do something stupid.
Xhaka will do something stupid. And Bird Leno will like throw the ball into his own net or something like that. And it's going to be a 1-1, and we're off. Or
we'll be 1-0 down, and they'll bring on El Neni.
Oh, we're not got a bunch of Xhaka haters, have we?
Well, I should have brought you on with Harry. I was at the Crystal Palace match when Xhaka got took off and he stormed off, and everybody was giving him a hard time. I think he took his. Did he have the captain's armband? He threw it on the floor and that.
I remember that.
If you love Xhaka, you say that he tossed it to Aubameyang and Aubameyang just didn't catch it, but I'm not happy with that.
I remember that clearly, and I at the time, I was pretty vocal in saying he's got a lead, but I think he's turned it around. I think he's improved, and I do think we do play better sometimes, not all the time, but generally better with him on the pitch. He seems to have
It's a low bar, though, isn't it?
Thoughts on that, Mike?
Arsenal seems to miss or not have a real kind of leader within the team, a proper captain figure like Tony Adams or something like that. I know about Aubameyang's captain at the moment, isn't he? But I can't see him being a great leader on and off the pitch. And I think Xhaka's got that. But is he the best person to be the team captain? I think we need some real leadership on the pitch, and I think really there's only really Xhaka that gives it. I know Tierney tries, but he's still young. I don't know if he's actually fully got because he's young. I don't know if the older kind of more senior players give him the respect that maybe he deserves. He's a captain for the future, but the captaincy for me is a big thing as to maybe why we play so inconsistently. I think.
My issue with Granit Xhaka, John, is not his play, because I try to have a rule. I don't always stick to this, but I try to have a rule where I don't critique the play of an individual unless they're actually worse than I am. So the only person I've really been able to successfully criticize over the last 5 years has been Mustafi. But and he has one more World Cup than I do as well. So, but it isn't about his play on the pitch. It's about what really, really, really solidified it for me. I was one of these whining, entitled, whinging people that about that day at Crystal Palace, and my sometimes co-host Andy and I really we just couldn't. He's like, he should have told everyone to fuck off, and like that. He was of the opinion that enough is enough. He was just being a human being. I think, despite the abuse he had been getting on Twitter or on Instagram, which is bang out of order, absolutely unfair, unreasonable, I think he just spit on the entire fan base that day with what he did, and over time worked his way back in, got a red card in a game that was a stupid red card in a game. And what pissed me off the most, what finally did it for me for good, was after that red card and the 3-game suspension that he had. What, he wrapped his hand around someone's neck?
But the twist
after he came back.
But what about the Chelsea
free kick?
What about the Chelsea match though, when David Luiz got sent off and he played centre back for the rest of the game? We drew 2-2 when Martinelli scored that absolutely wonder goal from around it. I mean, he was
a dick when he did that. Was he good? Was he playing well? Yes. But was he a dick? Yes.
Well, yeah.
But let me tell John, the thing that bugged me the most, and I haven't even gotten to it yet. The thing that bugged me the most is that after that red card, after the Crystal Palace thing, after this, when he scored against Newcastle, after all that, he comes back from his red card suspension, scores a peach of a free kick goal, and immediately after the game goes to the press and starts like people don't treat me fairly. Acted like he had basically rescued the Titanic, and that properly set me off, because I'm like, just how about some humbleness? You haven't redeemed yourself. You've done what you're supposed to do, which is score occasional really good free kick, and don't act like everything that you've been treated unfairly. So I don't like the guy. I didn't love his act after the Switzerland victory and the whole coming up to the camera with his, he's got a chip on his shoulder, and I don't.
He also screwed Switzerland by getting suspended.
Sorry?
If he hadn't got suspended in the Euros, Switzerland, he also screwed them over.
Yeah, he was certainly firing those guys up before that penalty kicks, but it didn't work. But yeah, I don't like the guy. I think he takes every opportunity he can to basically play the whole you didn't believe in me and now I'm proving you wrong thing, when in fact he continues to prove people right time and time again with his errors. So he's an above average player.
Mike, I take it you don't like Xhaka then.
What?
I take it you don't like Xhaka then.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Anyway, that Crystal Palace match has got some quite good memories. Well, not good memories for me. On that particular day, me and my 11-year-old son, who's also called Max, we sat in club level seats that day because they were the only bloody tickets I could get on that ticket exchange.
So you penalty judges.
I don't know if anybody's ever sat at club level. I bet Dan Potts sits there all the time, to be fair. But
I've actually sat there with Lee Judges one time.
Yeah, I bet. It's quite posh up there, isn't it? And people come up to you and be all kind of nice. They give you free beer at half time, which is even better. But
they give you free wine at halftime, and if Lee was still here, he would tell you the story about the game that we went to, and he's like, Mike, that wine isn't just for you; it's for everybody.
What was quite funny about this particular day, though, was we'd sat in club level, so it was quite posh, and we were trying to act all posh. We're not very posh. I appreciate people might think my surname's a little bit posh, but we ain't posh up here, we me and my son Max, we caught the train down to Finsbury Park on this day. So after the match, we had to walk back to the station. And when we were walking back to the station at Finsbury Park, I suddenly realised that at some point during the day, I'd split my trousers right down the back. And it kind of then kind of came clear why all of the staff working in club level were giving me some very odd looks throughout the day, because my arse had been hanging out the whole match. And and then I had the trauma of having to catch the train back, and I was crabbing alongside the walls to try and cover my arse and that up. And then I couldn't get a seat on the train. Of course, it made it 10 times worse. And you just think, oh my God, could my day ever got any worse? Splitting your trousers right at halfway through a bloody Arsenal match when you're in the posh end as well. I didn't have a jacket or nothing to cover it up, just me pants hanging out all day.
You happen to be located in this podcast right next to someone who regularly splits his trousers. Danny, do you have any advice for the man on how to handle it?
Just make sure you got clean knickers on.
Well. Yeah,
it's nice to put a face to the name of No Laguna. I know you by your username, but not you. And DWTT. I had no idea you were. I know you are now. I mean, I knew your name.
I'm friends with Richard. Cactus Cash, who's on your.
I know
that. It goes on Burkhead.
My Egyptian brother.
Your Egyptian brother. Yeah, we used to work at Arsenal together.
I noticed that when I said No Laguna was maybe the love child of Perry Groves earlier in the comments. He went like that. So
I mean, the secret's out now. May as well just open up and tell you all the stories.
Is that taking the glasses off?
Yes. So I wanted to just,
Yeah.
But it didn't work, obviously, because you brought it up.
Perry actually texted me after his appearance and asked if I knew any good lawyers for that handle paternity cases.
I'm coming for you.
It's not getting the relationship is not getting started off well, if you know what I'm saying.
So I just wanted to say something, and this is I don't want to get too gushy, but this is DWTT, everybody. If you see me you've seen my videos or you see me on Twitter, it stands for Don't Waste a Tweet, Don't Waste a Trip. And the reason why I say that is a phrase I like to say at the end of my videos. Life is a journey. Don't waste a trip. Enjoy the ride is basically what I say at the end of all my videos. And that's basically what Gooners versus Cancer is, really. Life is a journey. You have a lot of ups, so you have a lot of downs. And one of the things that you want to do is every day you want to try is not to waste what you got, right? You got another day to try to do something. So don't waste a trip. This is one of the things that Mike does outside of I like his videos, but this is another thing that Mike does for based on his his life experiences, and enjoy the ride. If you watched any of his shows, you will definitely enjoy the ride. It'll make you smile. He'll do some things you're like, wait a second, and you're like, okay, let's not do that again, please. But you will definitely enjoy it.
Life is too short to have regrets or leave things unsaid or undone. I mean, you never know when you've missed your last opportunity to do that. And I was among the lucky ones when it came to my father, in the sense, and I hate that he had to suffer, but we had 2 years to rectify and right a number of wrongs in our relationship. I mean, my people have started to see my relationship with my son. My relationship with my son is among the most treasured things that I have, if not the most treasured thing that I have, because it is not something I had with my dad. And I do this about my dad. I do this for my dad and in honor of my dad. But you could assume from that I had the relationship with him that Jake does with me and that I have with him, and that's just not the case. I was a child of divorce. My parents split up when I was 8. And my dad, it was Thursdays and every other weekend, and he didn't necessarily really know how to relate to me after that point. And we didn't have a lot of close events. We had very little to nothing in common, other than a last name and a roof over our heads together. And once he got sick, and I was, I guess I was about 35, 36 when he first got sick, 37 when he passed away. We had time to just sit down. I had the ability to really roll down my job. I'm a commission-based person in a financial services and sales industry, and and I was in a position where I knew I'd have the ability to take the time and just not spend every day trying to work and then regret it later. And I spent so much time with him in those final months, and I learned from him, and I learned about him, and he learned from me, which is the thing I never thought was possible. I thought he knew everything. I thought that was the problem, is that he knew everything, and who was I to say anything about it? And, he showed a human side that I'd never seen from him before. And it's just, not everybody has that opportunity. Cancer is one of those things that typically doesn't take you suddenly. It can take you very quickly, but use every minute that you have. And again, this is not the traditional Arsenal podcast ending this way, but just take every moment that you have and get to know the people that you care about. And like we said with John, when Max was on before, pay it forward as much as you possibly can. And Gary, I never knew that's what I always wondered what your Twitter handle was about. Don't waste the tweet. I'm like, well, I waste a ton of tweets. In fact, the exception of every once in a while I don't waste a tweet, but and I'm like, does he understand that they're free, they're unlimited? But don't waste the trip is a whole different thing, and that actually that's
a great philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
So Danny, now say something nice.
I'm the person hid in a tunnel for an hour to stay out of the rain.
There's a video that I recall from like 20 years ago. Do you know what the Ironman triathlon is? I mean, a triathlon is it's like 2 miles of swimming in the open water, and then it's like 150-mile bike ride, and then followed by a marathon. I mean, like, it's absurd, it's ridiculous. And
is that what you're doing next, Mike?
Well, yeah, I'm not doing that. There's this famous video of a triathlete who was like 40 meters from the finish line, and her body just completely broke down in every possible way. Legs fell apart, fell to the ground, started trying to move but couldn't, lost control of all of her faculties, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, but just like almost couldn't get to the finish line. That is how I feel right now, because we're 23 hours and 50 minutes through, and I'm out. I'm out of things to talk about.
Do you mean you shit yourself?
I knew that's where you were going to go with that. I absolutely knew that's where you were going to go with that.
Yeah. Well, as we approach
I took a well-timed break in hour 12, and that was all I ended up needing. But I've literally run out of things to do and say. So but we got to go another 10 minutes. We have a prize drawing that we have to do in 5 minutes, and then we're gonna sign off. So anything anyone else want? I mean, it doesn't have to be a gushy, nice thing about a charity or anything like that. But let's try not to make it as negative as my Xhaka rant.
Well, I will say this: I just opened Twitter, and the top two things trending on my list, you can tell it's the eve of Arsenal's opening game, are Arteta out, Kroenke out, and then COVID news.
Oh, good.
Those are the top three on my Twitter when I open it up.
No matter how much positivity we try to put out there into the world, after this is over, the world is just going to become a cesspool again. I mean, it's inevitable.
Unfortunately, so.
Does anybody else think we're going to regret selling Willock? We need a central midfielder who scores goals. We got one. Let's sell him.
He didn't score goals for us, though, did he?
I mean, I'm potentially okay with it if we add another midfielder, but we'll
you trust in him? We'll just buy 2 more goalkeepers.
We never really played him, though, to be fair, did we?
70 games. He played 70 all competitions.
Just because you thrive in an environment at a club like Newcastle does not mean you will thrive at a club like Arsenal. And I think his ceiling at Arsenal, I think, and I could be wrong about this, I think was baked in already. And
it's like Gnabry wouldn't have done what he's done.
Yeah, I mean, I think the responsibilities at Arsenal are so much more than at Newcastle for him. He's being asked to do a lot more at Arsenal that Arteta wants out of his players, and I don't think he could give Arteta what he wanted, and that's never played as much as we thought he should. He went to Newcastle, and I think Newcastle didn't put any of that stuff on him, so he didn't have as much weight to carry as far as what he brought to the table. That's kind of what I feel. So he was freer, right? We always say the players go away and they look like they're free. I think the weight of either playing for Arteta or playing with that shirt with Emirates fly better on the front or whatever it is at that point is heavy sometimes, and players is that what it is on your shirt? But I kind of feel that's.
I just checked to be. How has there not been a meme yet that says Emirates play better? I'm not like the most like. I never come up with these popular trendy things on Twitter that catch on, but I mean, there's got to be an Emirates play better type of situation that's out there.
I made a shirt that said Emmerich goal getter, but I regret that now.
Yeah, how much inventory are you having to eat on that shirt?
It's all online, so I ain't do anything. But you know, it's not selling very well. I don't know why. I wish it bloody would though.
We got Olivier saying, "Do we need a number 10?" We got Jim Housen saying Willock's not it. We got Owen Young trolling me by asking me if I want to go on a podcast after this, a podcast that no longer exists because we purchased it for the total price of $0. But Danny, how much would you sell your podcast for at this point? Breaking Up Wonderland, one of the longest running podcasts, the true podfather, I think, in my eyes.
I think I should be the pod mother. Because Arse Blog's the pod father. I should be the pod mother.
But you're the pod uncle then, because like you take in all the little podcasters that Andrew doesn't want to end up providing false hope to.
I didn't know where that was going. I thought it was going down a hole.
No.
We're doing one.
Literally.
We're doing a show in about 7:05. Me, Chris, John, and possibly Josh. We're not sure at the moment.
Do you need anybody else on it? Because I'm available.
No, we don't need you passing out mid-podcast. But I've got 3
I have
shows
done that before on our own podcast, but
we've got 3 shows coming up. But you're talking about exposing the Twitter, the podcasting world to podcasts some might not have heard of. We've got Not Another Arsenal podcast with Mike. They're coming on to do an ABW meet, and then the Bruised Banana Boys. They're coming on as well, and Same Old Arsenal USA. They're coming on to do one. And people know if you're in if you watch them on YouTube, you know about all of them. But it's just nice to have a chat with them and see how they started and what their plans are and thoughts for the season. And they might get a few more listeners because 9 seasons though, nearly 900 shows. Not one of them worth listening to again.
I don't know. I listen to the ones that I was on all the time. I just figured out something that I should be doing with the last few minutes of this podcast before we do the final drawing, and that is some thank yous. Obviously, I want to thank two people who I know would have been on this podcast. Well, 3 people actually that would have, and I've already forgotten who the third person was, but 3 people who are very close friends of mine, and I know that they would have come on the podcast and wanted to be a part of it had work and obligations not get in the way, but they've been very supportive in every way outside of this, and that is Tom Canton and Craig Scott. Both of them just wonderful men, and wish them both all the success in the world. They both work very hard at what they do, both professionally and podcastically, which for some of them, for Tom, it's the same thing. But wish Tom good luck in his new job with Reach, which is the company that owns Football.London, and those 2 guys are fantastic. Here's who I owe thank you to for this particular podcast, for appearing on it: Elliot Smith of Arsenal Vision, Alan Smith, Simon Collins, Chris Wheatley, Mike McDonald, Ryan Fletcher, you, Danny, for appearing earlier, Jim Housen, who I finally met face to face for the first time, Jared Carver, John from Miami. Jared, thank you. That's you. Who else? JJ Garcia, who picked Arsenal to win the league and Spurs to get relegated. The Not Another Podcast crew. Christian couldn't make it, but Sebi was here, and Kelly was here, and Mikey Herz. Let's see, who else did we have? We had Fergus Keating, a great hour from Fergus, Mike Scunny from Scunthorpe, Max Ware from Australia, who had to deal with 3 different mics at the same time. John, you and Max were fantastic. I really enjoyed that hour with you.
Yeah, best on the show, weren't we?
It absolutely was. Gunner Blog, James McNicholas, Arse Blog, Andrew Mangan, Mark Brindle, Arsenal supporters liaison, representing the Arsenal from inside the walls of Highbury House, Lee Dixon, James Benge, Charles Watts, Perry Groves, Ryan Rocastle, Sophie Nicolau, Super Kevin Campbell, Stuart Robson, Dan Potts, Lee Judges, Harry Simeo, Gary Howell, Stephen Feely, and if I have somehow forgotten anybody, please forgive me. It's been a little bit of a long day for me, but with the two, and everybody that has helped out with promotion, with sharing, with tweets, like Jared said, you don't have to donate a penny, but simply being here for the entire 24 hours with me, like Dazza did, and a few others did, and staying up as late as you could, that was supportive, and I appreciate it. And
a bird just flew into the window and gave me a heart attack. Sorry.
Yeah. So with the final 2 minutes, we're gonna pick the winner of the grand prize, which is a 2019. I think I have it here. 2019-2020 team signed shirt, signed by the entire first team. Looks like exactly what Jared's got on, but with the signatures on it. It's just like the one that Gary has in the back, but it's the FA Cup winning squad, and we're going to pick the winner for this right now. So first of all, the final number, and it is now final, that we raised was $5,025 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So thank you to everybody that donated. I appreciate it, and it's always nice to hit the goal. The goal was 3,000 at the beginning of the show, and it went so quickly. I raised it to 5, and we hit that. So, for the final act of this ridiculous endeavor, we're going to pick the winner of the team signed shirt, and the winner is going to be. Got to sign in there. There's my email, everybody. How do I work this thing? I forgot. I've only done this 18 times. Okay. The winner of the team signed shirt grand prize. It can't be Nick Canning. He's already won 3 prizes. I'm so sorry. Anticlimactic, wasn't it? So,
Andy, didn't he win the Kevin Campbell shirt as well? But you avoided that.
Yeah. He won the Lee Dixon shirt. Then he won the Kevin Campbell shirt, which we couldn't allow. And then he's won that one. So yeah, I mean, his name keeps coming up. But the winner of the first team signed shirt. My God, we're going to go on for 25 hours here now. But what I mean to say is the winner of the first team signed kit, Arslan Sheikh. Thank you, Arslan. You have won the
well done, Arslan.
The grand prize. Arslan, I will be in touch with you. Congratulations. He's waded through 18 different prizes that he didn't win, and finally took home the big one. So we've done it. We've actually done this. We finished it. We've been on the air for 24 straight hours. Thanks to everybody. I know some of you got to go right now, and I have no inspirational way other than to say, pay it forward, make the most of every minute that you have, and thank you. Come on, you Gooners.